Dear friends, so today I am back again with another story from the Timeless collection. Today I'll be reading the story of Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. The name of the story is The Globe of Gold. So let's begin with the story. On Koila's peak, underneath the sprouting deodars, sat Mahadev and his life partner Parvati on tiger skins, tossing the dice. The stake was a globe of gold. The flaw in Mahadev's play was that he couldn't win the stake. Had he possessed the capacity to do as such at the churning of the sea, the venom would not have held up in his throat. In any case, Parvati was shrewd at winning the stake, in verification of which witness her yearly 3 days worship on earth. However, it may be with the dice at crying, she was unrivaled, having phenomenal capacity in it. Accordingly, if a high toss tumbled to Mahadev, she awakened the neighborhood with her wails, and when a low number tumbled to herself, she would cast at the three eyed Mahadev a look meant to demolish the universe, so that, however, he got the winning toss, he acted up not to see it and lost the stake. This was the perpetual outcome. So Mahadev consented to bestow upon Parvati the golden ball, which she had no sooner obtained than she threw it down upon the earth. Whereupon the five faced god demanded with a frown, "Why have you thrown away my gift?" Parvati replied, "Lord, your ball must certainly possess some wonderfully beneficent property. I have cast it down to benefit mankind." The god made answer, "Lady, no good can result from opposing the laws by which Prajapati, Vishnu, and I have framed the universe. Prosperity can come only from obedience to these laws. A golden ball can serve no purpose. If it have any beneficent property, the laws being broken, it will injure mankind. At your suggestion, I have endued it with a special quality. Sit here and watch how it works." Kali Kanta Babu was a man of good position, in age about 35, of a goodly presence. Some years earlier, he had contracted a second marriage, and he was now on his way to visit his wife, Kamasundari, a girl about 18, now staying at her father's house. His father in law was a wealthy man residing at a village on the banks of Ganges. Kalikanta, fastening his boat to the ghat, set out on foot for the house of his father in law, attended by his servant Rama, bearing his portmanteau. Kalikanta Babu noticed a golden ball lying in the path. Picking it up in astonishment, he found it was indeed of fine gold. Much pleased, he handed it to the servant, saying, "I see this golden. Someone must have lost it. If it is inquired for, I will produce it. Otherwise, I will take it home with me. For the present, keep it carefully." In order to conceal the ball in his dress, Rama put down the portmanteau. Then, taking the golden thing from his master's hand, he hid it in his garments. But Rama did not again place the portmanteau on his head. Kalikanta took it up and placed it on his head. Rama went on in front of the Babu, followed by his load. Presently, Rama called out, "Hi, you Rama." Babu, "What do you wish, sir?" Rama, "You are an ill-mannered fellow. Take care that you are guilty of no rudeness in my father-in-law's house. They are gentle folk." Babu, "Could I possibly commit any rudeness in your presence?" In Koilas, Parvati was saying, "My lord, I can't understand this at all. What is this property in your golden ball?" Mahadev answered, "It's property in exchange of mental personality. If I were to place this ball in Nandi's hand, he would think I am Mahadev and would take me to be Nandi. I should think myself Nandi and fancy Nandi to be Mahadev. Rama thinks I am Kalikanta Babu and takes the Babu to be the servant Rama. Kalikanta thinks I am Ram Khan Sama and fancies Rama to be Kalikanta Babu. When Kalikanta Babu arrived at the house, his father in law was in the inner apartments. But the confusion began outside. The gatekeeper Ram Deen Pandre said, "Hi Khan Samaji, don't sit there. Come and sit with us." Whereupon Rama replied angrily, "Go, go, you rustic fellow. Mind your own business." The gatekeeper took down the portmanteau from the head of Kalikanta Babu, who said, "Do not insult the Babu in that manner. He will become angry and go away." The gatekeeper was acquainted with the son in law, but not with the servant. So when he heard Kalikanta Babu speak, thus he thought, "Since the son in law speak of his person as Babu, he must be some great man in disguise." In his faith, he addressed Rama humbly with joined hands, entreating pardon for his fault. To which Rama answered, "Well, well, send some tobacco." Udbhav Khansama was an ancient servant of the father-in-law's household. He brought a handsomely mounted hookah prepared for use, which Rama, reclining among the cushions, began to smoke. Kalikanta, seeking the servant's room, enjoyed his modest hubble bubble. Greatly amazed, Udbhav explained, "What is this, sir? Why do you do thus?" Kalikanta replied, "How can I smoke in his presence?" Udbhav, going to the inner apartment, said to his master, "The Jamai Babu has arrived, sir, and a gentleman in disguise has come with him. The Jamai Babu honors him so highly that he will not even smoke before him." The head of the house, Neel Ratan Babu, came out in haste. Kalikanta, seeing him, prostrated himself in the distance and moved away. Rama, coming forward, took a pinch of dust from Neel Ratan Babu's feet and they mutually embraced. Neel Ratan thought, "The companion is certainly a well-bred man. But why does the son-in-law act so strangely?" Neel Ratan Babu sat down to address the usual welcoming inquiries to his visitor, but could make nothing at all of his replies. Meantime, lunch having been prepared in the inner apartments, a female attendant appeared to call the son-in-law to partake of it. Kalikanta said, "Good gracious! How can I take food before the Babu has eaten? Let him be served first. Then my turn will come. I will eat in your mess, ma." The maid servant, hearing herself addressed in this respectful manner, thought to herself, "The Jamai Babu takes me for one of the family. Why should he not? I come of respectable people and show it in my looks. He sees all sorts and can distinguish, not like the stupid people in this house. Why don't know a gentlewoman when they see one?" So greatly pleased, the maid Bindi went inside and reported that the Jamai Babu's scruple was admirable, that it would not be suitable for him to eat until his companion had eaten, that the friend should be served first. The mistress thought, "This is some stranger, so let him be served outside, and the son-in-law in the inner apartments." Rama, seeing preparations for his lunch in the outer apartments, was much incensed, thinking, "What a strange proceeding is this?" In the meantime, the maid called Kalikanta to lunch. All was ready within, but Kalikanta, standing in the courtyard, said, "Why should I go in? Give me a little pulse and treacle in my hand to eat here." The sister-in-law said, "What a lot of funny ways you have learned." Distressed, Kalikanta replied, "Why do you make fun of me? Am I a fit object for your sport?" An elder lady said, "Why an object of sport to us? Go to her who has the right to jest with you. And taking his hand, stumbling as she went, she pulled him into the room. Kalikanta's wife Kamasundari was standing there. Kalikanta, taking her to be the wife of his master, prostrated himself before her. At this, Kamasundari's lovely face broke into smiles. What game is this? She asked. What new jest have you learned? Troubled by these words, Kalikanta said, Oh, why will you speak to me thus? I am your servant. You are my lord. You are servant? I am master? Not for today or tomorrow only. So long as I live, that relation shall continue. Now eat your lunch. Kalikanta, if anyone has represented me to you in that light, he has lied. Humbly I beg of you as my preceptress to let me go. Just loving Kamasundari thought this was indeed a new sort of game. She said, Dearer than life, I begin to see that you have learned some fine jokes this time. And taking these two hands, she again pulled him towards the seat. No sooner had she caught him by the hand than he, thinking all was over with him, he shouted, Help! Help! I'm done for! She's killing me! The frightened family came running at these cries. Kamasundari, at the sight of her mother, sister, and aunt, released her husband's hand, and he, seizing this opportunity with a long breath, escaped. The mistress asked her daughter, What is the matter, Kami? Why has a son-in-law gone in this way? Did you strike him? Amazed and wounded to the heart, Kamasundari answered, Strike him? Why should I strike him with so evil a fate as mine? Gradually, her voice was lost in sobs. My evil destiny, some wretch has destroyed me, has bewitched me. These cries attracted a crowd around her. They said, Yes, you must have struck him. Else, why should he call out so piteously? And they called her names, Sinful One, Witch, Ogress, and scolding her. The innocent Kamasundari, thus reapproached, went weeping to her room, closed the door, and laid herself down on her bed. Meanwhile, Kalikanta, coming out, saw that a great commotion had arisen. Neel Ratan Babu himself, the gatekeeper, and Udbhab were all belaboring Rama wherever they chanced to find him. Amid the shower of slaps and cuffs raining upon him, Rama kept saying, Let me go! I never heard of her son-in-law being beaten so. It does not matter to me, but do you want to make your daughter a widow? Nearby stood Taranga, the maid servant, laughing. She was accustomed to go to the son-in-law's house and told her master that she recognized the man as being the Babu's servant Rama. Kalikanta Babu, seeing the beating going on, paced the courtyard like one distraught, crying, How dreadful! They are beating the Babu! At this, Neel Ratan Babu, yet more enraged, said to Rama, You fellow, what have you given the son-in-law to eat to madden him? Beat the rascal with a shoe. At this command, as rain follows rain in August, so on the guiltless Rama fell the rain of blows. In the pain of the beating, the ball hidden in his garments fell to the ground. The maid, Taranga, picking it up, offered it to her master, saying, This good-for-nothing fellow is a thief. See so? He has stolen a golden ball. Let me see it, said Neel Ratan Babu, taking it from her. Then letting Rama go, he stood aside, opened the plaited fold of his upper garment, and cast it over his head. While Taranga, letting her sari fall from her head, tucked it up like a man's and was about to beat Rama with the slipper when Udbhab said to her, You woman, why are you going again mixing yourself up with this? Taranga, whom are you calling woman? Udbhab, you. Taranga, you mock at me? And with the slipper in her hand, she struck Udbhav. He, greatly incensed, but unwilling to strike a woman, looked towards his master, saying, "See, sir, the impudence of this woman! She is striking me with a shoe." But the master, pulling his veil a little more over his face, with a merry smile, said sweetly, "Yes, he is striking you, but do not be angry. He is the master, and may do so." Whereat Udbhav, yet more incensed, replied, "How is she my master? She is a servant. I am also a servant. How can you talk like this? I am your servant. How can I be hers? I don't serve on those terms." Again, smiling merrily, the master said in the same gentle voice, "What curious fancies we see in old men, my servant. How can you be that?" Speechless with amazement, Udbhav thought, "Have we got into a lunatic neighborhood today?" And in his surprise, he let go Rama and remained standing. At this moment, Govardhan Ghosh, keeper of the household cows, came up. He was Taranga's husband. He was astonished at Taranga's condition and behavior. Also, she took no notice of him. While on the other hand, the master of the house, seeing Govardhan again, drew the veil off his face and stood aside. Looking sideways, the Govardhan whispered, "Don't mix yourself up in that." Govardhan, witnessing Taranga's conduct, became enraged. The master's words did not reach his ear. He went to seize Taranga by the hair. "Vile woman!" he exclaimed. "Have you no shame?" Seeing him coming, Taranga said, "Govardhan, are you also out of your senses? Go and feed the cows." At this, Govardhan seized her by the hair and began to abuse her roundly, whereupon Neel Ratan Babu exclaimed, "Heavens! That ill-fated wretch is murdering the master." Taranga, also becoming furious, said, "Do you dare to touch the person of your master?" and began to strike Govardhan. Then the uproar became general. At the sound of it, the neighbors Ram Mukherjee, Gobind Chatterjee, etc., came up to see what was going on. Ram Mukherjee, seeing a golden ball lying about, took it up and gave it to Gobind Chatterjee, saying, "See, sir, what is this?" In Koilas, Parvati now said, "Oh, my lord, take back your golden ball. See, Gobind Chatterjee has gone into old Ram Mukherjee's inner apartments, and taking the old man's old wife to be his young wife, is addressing spiteful speeches to her. And Ram Mukherjee's scandalized maid servants are beating the intruder with a broom. Meanwhile, old Ram Mukherjee, fancying himself the youthful Gobind Chatterjee, has gone to Gobind's inner room and is singing song to Gobind's wife. Should that ball remain a moment longer in the world, there will be confusion in every house. Therefore, take it back." Mahadev answered, "O mountain born, what is the fault in my ball? Is this a new condition of things on earth? Do you not constantly observe the old setting the younger in order, the young doing the same by the old, the master behaving like the servant in his master's seat? Do you never see a man behaving like a woman or a woman like a man? All these things are constantly happening on the earth, but no one seems to see how ludicrous it is. I have for once made it evident to the senses of all. Now I take back the ball. At my wish, each shall return to his own nature, and no one shall remember what has occurred." So friends, this is end of the story. Please stay tuned for the next story. Keep listening and keep supporting. Thank you so much.